Hi, I'm Mhan. Today we're going to talk about something pretty cool. I recently came across ACDArtAttack's channel, and he's by far one of the coolest artists on YouTube. He does a coloring book series, link in the description below, that I found pretty fun and pretty amazing. I just couldn't help but take part in this challenge. It's called The Professional Artist Colors His Own Coloring Book. A few years ago, I drew a Supergirl story, and the pages from that comic are included in this DC's Supergirl coloring book. That's what we'll be coloring today. It's pretty awesome. We've got a very nice drawing of Supergirl right here in the front. Some very, very nice drawings in here. I guess that's, that's one of mine. This is my drawing from Supergirl Adventures. I always really like this page. I don't think we're going to draw that page though. And this was my other image that I drew. We're going to be coloring this one actually. And then we've got me again at the end right here. Boom. The very last page. There is 94 pages in this book. I've got page 94, Mhan Adventures of Supergirl number 2. Got another one here, page 61, art by Mhan, and another one here, 48, art by Mhan. So I've got money on the top and on the bottom, kind of, or on the top of that one. DC Comics, it's $16, $15.99, basically $16. Very nice back cover. I'm on the fence about how it's going to turn out when I start coloring on it. They've printed the pages on the front and on the back. So if you color on one side, it's going to show up on the other side. So here's what the page looks like in the book. And as you can probably tell, I won't get anywhere near as good as this because John Roach is such a phenomenal colorist. Let's get on to it. Let's color one of these pages that I drew. So what I like to do, and I'm going to go ahead and do it here, is I take a piece of paper, scrap paper, and I'm going to put it underneath of the paper because it's going to leak, and I'm planning on giving the book away to a lucky subscriber. So please subscribe and leave me a comment on this video for a chance to win this coloring book with my colored piece in it. A winner will be chosen and announced in one of next month's videos. Since I drew the line art for this page, I don't really feel the need to add anything else. I don't think. We just have to figure out the lighting, and we can kind of go from there. This is my big beast. Yeah, it's a big color box. They're going to be W zeros. Zeros, twos, the 5. Alright, should we speed it up just a little bit? Actually, it's a lot bit. When I'm working with markers, I like to lay down some foundational values before I start working with the local colors. The values builds up volume and mass within the figure. Once I've figured out the modeling and the lighting with the values, that's when I'll lay down the local colors. And the local colors are pretty much what the color of that object is, not counting for color shifts due to light and blah blah technical blah stuff. Anyways, that'll be for a different video, not this one. I'll constantly flip over to the other side of the paper just to make sure that I'm not leaking through too badly, and just to get a feel of how much leakage I've got. I mean, I know that there's got to be some, and again with this DC paper, it's flimsy or it's more like newsprint in a way, and it does absorb a lot of the marker. So it's kind of a bummer that you can only color one side of the page. I guess the workaround would be just to take the page and then maybe photocopy it. I mean, I'm not sure how much of the copyright laws you'd be breaking, but I guess there's some, I'm sure there's some element of that. But so here you can see the local colors being added, the blues and the reds and the the colors of her costume. Here we're adding the darker value of the local colors. I don't really have a method for how I work when I color, because I just haven't really figured out my method yet. Some people work from like dark to light, and then some people work from light to dark. I tend to do both, whatever feels right to me at the before I start the piece. You should really definitely plan your methodology before going into doing the piece. I just don't. Sometimes you'll see later on in this piece, because I don't really plan out whether I'm going to work from dark to light. I kind of got myself into a little pickle. The backgrounds got really, really light, and then the dark blue of Supergirl's costume was really, really blue, like really dark. Yeah, so I had to readjust halfway through, or seeing how everything was turning out. I really needed to push Supergirl to come to the foreground, and that's done by messing with the values. Supergirl's skin tone and her hair and everything, it was very light in comparison to her costume, and if I added a lot more shadows to her face and everything, it would have made her really dark. I just didn't want to add all those shadows to her face, so I went ahead and just made the background darker by adding more gray, more black. Oh yeah, more of the gray tone markers to just give it an overall darker value, and thereby pushing the backgrounds further back and then bringing her to the foreground more. It wasn't the very best way to do it, and if I had planned better for it, it would have been better. So that's a good tip right there. Flipping the page over and checking that crazy leakage off of that paper. Here I'm using the Prisma colored pencil, the white one, to create highlights within the body. Again, I'm actually using it more liberally here because I was trying to make the blue of that costume just a little bit less intense, because at this point that blue is just a bad color choice and it's causing a lot of color imbalance. I'm adding a secondary light source here, which actually doesn't make much sense, but I'm adding for dramatic effect and just gives the picture and her a little bit more interest. In the real world, when you're flying up there, I don't imagine there'd be a ton of light bouncing around. You just have the extremely bright direct sunlight, and maybe you might have one or two lights bouncing around from a building, or windows off of a building, but that's about it. I don't think the secondary lighting would be as strong as I'm portraying it here, but artistic license and all that. I'm using the gray to go ahead and drop that background. Like I mentioned earlier, the background was just way too bright and it was just competing too much for your attention. I wanted Supergirl to be at the forefront, and the background, as detailed as it may be, needs to be dropped. Just adding some finishing touches to the Supergirl, some extra highlights and some extra little bit of colors here and there, and there you go, we're all done. And there you have it. This concludes the Pro Artist Colors a Coloring Book challenge, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more art tips and tricks, challenges, and to be part of a journey where we make ourselves better artistically and have a whole lot of fun doing it. I'll see you next time. Peace.